I'm Carol, and I'm the finance director for this year. I can be contacted at cscfinance@gmail.com, and I'll try my best to respond within 24 hours. I will also have office hours with the rest of the directors, so please chat the schedule and click off the 5. And if you really need any urgent help, just ask any CSC staff member to contact me. You probably have my number. So yeah, that's them. So what can I help you with? Basically any finance information. If you don't know where your budget report is, I can help you with that. I got asked a question today asking, I had surplus last year. Does it forward to this year? The answer is no. Your surplus from last year did not forward to this year. And so when you're managing your budget, please make sure that you kind of spend as much as you can, but don't overspend. So basically, if you have a lot of excess funds from last year, your budget for this year will be affected, and it's not a good thing for you. I can also help you with funding applications. So say you have an event in 2 months or 3 months, and you are wondering what funding sources you can apply to, you can talk to me. I can help you go through the list of funding sources. And if you want somebody to look through your applications, I can do that for you too. I mean, it takes like 20, 30 minutes, and I'm happy to do that. So just email me, and I can just help you proofread your application. And if you have a problem, GenRec, I can also help you with that. And if you have any questions with fundraising, just email me as well. Your PLE should be able to help you with that too. So the most basic thing you guys should know about finance is that there's a really, really important website, which is the SGA website. It looks like that. Let me see, I'll look at it. It looks like that. So the important parts that you need to look at is the budget report. And it looks something like that. So you're going to have your organizations page and then your different allocations. So you should probably bookmark this site if you haven't already. So yeah, let me just go through the website with you guys in case you guys don't know. So the budget report is this page, and then the resources and forms is for different programming funds, the documents that you kind of need help with. And then there are sample recs. If you guys don't know how to do a GenRec, there are actually sample recs here already. So you can just basically open the PDF and just really look at it and fill it out. So yeah, programming ones, other funding sources, operational for SUF, for t-shirts and sites and stuff like that. Miscellaneous are all the smaller funding bodies. And then there's also a really useful funding calendar that SGA puts up, but I don't think they update it that often. So the last time I checked, it was still in winter quarter last year. So I wouldn't know if they updated that often. Let's see. So funding for sites, you can apply to 2 different funding bodies. CSC, which is already due. So you guys should already know your allocation, or you will know your allocation really, really soon. There's also CPC. The date's already out, and the dates are also on the SGA website under the programming tab. And there are 6 cycles per year. We have a CSC staff member who is the chair of the CPC committee. Her name is Garima, and you guys can go to the office anytime. She will help you with your funding if you guys need help with that. And then there are funding for other programs, and these are more specific to one-day events and stuff like that. So USC BOD I just put there because it's not that relevant to projects because it's a funding source for really, really huge programs. Like, for example, CSC only applies to USA BOD for a day of service. It's a funding body that basically needs to affect like a large UCLA population for you to apply, but I put it there anyway. USA contingency, this is actually really, really relevant. It's a supplemental source of funding, and it's really important funding because it can help you fund food, which is not very common for funding bodies. Then there's also SIAC and SIAC Mini. I think there's a staff member at CSC that's just Alex. So he can help you with that too. Just email him. And then there's a CS Mini. The chair is Elliot Gomez, one of the PLBs, I think. So he can help you with that too. But as I said, you cannot apply to USA BOD. And then again, they kind of like fun, different kind of events. CSC, obviously small events, USA BOD, the large ones. There's also ABC. Also like the contingency app, it can fund food. So it's again really, really useful for for you guys because you guys need to feed your volunteers too. There's also the ASUCLA Student Union Event Fund. Basically, if you want to hold events in Ackerman Ballroom, Broom Plaza, any space that is under ASUCLA, you can apply to them. But one thing to note is that their due dates are really, really early. So if you know of an event, you better look at the due date. For example, an event that's November 23rd, the due date is actually like October 4th. So it's pretty early. Check the ASUCLA website. And then the last one, there's TGIF. It's a really small funding body, and you can kind of torque your application to incorporate some sustainability programs, and somehow you get funds from it. It's useful because a lot of people don't apply, so you might actually get some money. So some general tips that I would give to you guys is that for hearings, you have to prepare a lot beforehand. You have to choose the person to represent you really, really wisely, somebody who knows the event really well, and somebody who knows your finances really well too. And typically when you go to hearings, you have to prepare an introduction about what your organization is, what this event is about, and a conclusion. Really sell your event. Tell them what you did better this year, some innovation points that you guys incorporated this year that you guys didn't do last year. So, well, okay, I already said that. Okay, a really important point here is that you have to contact Alice, our transport director, if you're using CSC for transportation, because automatically we'll use your SGA funds, right? So you guys have to ask Alice to take note of that. So the last point is that funding bodies almost never give you 100%. So always kind of overestimate, I guess. Yep. Don't say I say that. So some of the common problems, I already went through this. Contingency at ABC will give you food for your volunteers. Contingency, I believe, gives you $250 maximum. T-shirts, USAC only funds one T-shirt per group each academic year, and that will be through SUF. And yeah, it's only a shirt for the project as a whole. It can't be like an event-specific thing like your service. So you also need to include your logos if you purchase any graphics or any T-shirts using funds from them. So the USAC logo will be from SUF, and ASUCLA if you apply for USA BOD and other like ASUCLA event funds. So what is a GenRec? How many of you guys here have filled out a GenRec? Oh, not that many. Okay, so a GenRec looks really, I don't know, it's really busy, but it's actually not that hard. We have a whole bunch of GenRecs in the CSC office in the ClickOff 405. If you can't find it, they should be on the rightmost column of those little bins we have there. So, again, I think the hardest part of filling out a GenRec is going to be finding your account number. You have to fill in a 21-digit account number, which you can go to your budget report and find. So I'll just use CSC's budget report as an example. So one over here, this is the first number of your 21-digit thing. This is your department number. It's right on top, so this is your department number. And then basically, once you fill those two set of numbers out, if you, for example, you want to buy flyers for your project, and it will go under graphics, right? So it's going to be, the last four set of numbers that you're going to fill in is 4130, which is here. And then the next one's going to be 110. And then the next one's going to be 6110. And then the last one is going to be 00000. Is it easy? No. I know it's hard, but you figure it out.
Just to clarify the top two numbers, the 1101 and the 1, for every project, it will always be 1 because we're all under USAC. However, the 1101 is CSC, like staff specific, so every project has their own 4-digit code.
And just to add, if you know your printer code to print in the office, that is your number also. That's your department number.
So yeah, basically most of the sections are really easy. It's just, filling your contact info, blah, blah, blah. It's really the 21-digit account number that's going to be hard. So yeah, this is actually all your department numbers. If you guys want to write down yours, if you don't already know them, can you guys see? Yeah, if you guys don't know them, you can write them down now. If not, I'll just move on. Okay, so there are several different ways where you can access your funds through SGA. This is only for your funds under SGA. So if you have funds under CSC, it's a different process to get your funds. And if you have funds from different funding bodies like contingency and stuff, it's also going to be different. So when you fill out your application, there's probably one page in it that tells you how to access your funds over there. So I'll just go through mostly SGA stuff. The purchase order, if you guys don't know what a purchase order is, it's a finance term. It's basically a contract between a buyer and a seller, and it's usually used before an event. So for example, I want t-shirts for a certain day, but the company wants me to pay before I get t-shirts. Then I have to go to SGA and be like, I want a purchase order. And you basically ask SGA to mail the purchase order to the vendor, and then after the vendor receives it, it can be like, okay, I'll give you a t-shirt. If you want to get your t-shirts, you can either tell SGA that, okay, I already received the t-shirt, so you can go ahead and pay the actual check. Then they will do that. If not, usually the vendor would just bug SGA and get the check anyway. Second is cash advance. You don't usually use cash advances. It's usually the case where, for example, I need to buy stuff in Costco, and I need to buy stuff from Smart and Final for maybe site or an event, and I don't want to use my own money for that. So you just fill in cash advance, you go to SGA, they give you a check, you can cash the check, go buy your stuff, and then keep all your original receipts, bring all the original receipts, not Xerox copies, to SGA, and then pay them back all the excess funds that you don't use. And you'll be done. If you don't give them the funds that you don't use and your original receipts within 2 weeks, then there'll be a hole in your account and you can't do a lot of stuff. So do that. And then reimbursement. Reimbursement is kind of like cash advance, except that you use your money first, and then you get reimbursed later. But one important thing to note about reimbursement is that you must make sure that your group has enough funding for the item. If not, you won't get reimbursed. Oops. So what kind of documents should I include in my gen rec? For reimbursement, it's a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to start with that. Obviously, you need your invoice, and for example, if you're buying a t-shirt, show them how your t-shirt looks like, and stuff like that. The most important thing is you need to show that you paid it. So most people, for example, you buy from Amazon and then you charge your credit card. So you have to give your online bank statement. They actually need that before they can reimburse you. So it's really important. And then purchase order is the most common. It's really straightforward. It's just really the invoice and any item description that you guys need. Yeah. And I already said about the cash advance, the original receipts. Whatever, you guys probably won't use that. But if you do, there are a lot of agreement forms that you need to sign, and they're all available on the SGA website. So the W-9 form, that kind of stuff, it's really complicated, but you'll figure out. Some general tips that I want to talk about would be that when you're filling out a gen rec, you can, if you're the person filling out the gen rec, you cannot be the one who signs it. So for example, I fill out the gen rec, I need to ask Omar to sign it, or Hannah. You also have to check the budget report before you actually do it to make sure you have enough funds, or you're going to have a problem rack and then you're not going to get reimbursed and a whole bunch of stuff will follow. So yeah. Also for funding bodies, make sure that you don't wait too long to use the funds, or it might be just gone. Okay, fundraising. I'm just gonna go through fundraising really quickly because we're running out of time. But there is a fundraising guide on our communityservicecommission.org website. It's under finance. It looks like that. Fundraising guidelines. Different page. Fundraising guidelines. So if you guys really don't know how to do a fundraiser, and you forget everything I told you today, then you can just go with it. So obviously the first and foremost step will be to decide what to sell, where to sell, what price to sell, and to publicize it. And if you want to publicize your fundraiser, it's really important to email Jay, because he's going to help you publicize on a CSC website, a CSC Facebook page, wherever. So people know about it, and you can get other CSC products to help you with your fundraiser too. And then you have to fill out a temporary permit app. It's going to be found online. And then ask your party director to book a menu. And then once you fill out the app, meet with Pam, get it signed. You need it signed before you can do anything. And then you also have to go to the environmental, the environmental and health something representative to sign it too, because they need to make sure it's safe for consumption. And then after that, if you have any hot food, you would need to, I think you would need to email the fire permit guy and get the fire permit. And you need at least 2 weeks because he's really busy. He handles everything. And if you need a chiller or a cooler, anything like that, you can go to John Wooden. They do rentals, and that's about it. I don't have anything more. So, do you guys have any questions?
How can we get